Well, it's a sad day today. My gecko died, but we still gotta get the podcast in. So let's start off with the Atlas Whip Snakes. So I didn't make a bet on this, had no hypothetical bets. Um, I forget what the over under was, but I believe that they just scraped the under, if I'm not mistaken, or just hit the over, because 24 is right about that range of 22 to 24 is usually that over under range. I believe they're a bit on the higher side. This was interesting, man, because it was a pretty one-sided game very early in this contest. So if we're looking just at the first quarter, 6-0 at Whip Snakes. The next quarter, 6-1 Whip Snakes. So we're going into the halftime at 12-1, and the game is basically over. Um, Matt Rambo had a fucking crazy game. 7 points, 4 goals, 3 assists, just an absolute dog walking. Jeff Teat, not a bad game. The Baptiste Nardella, I'm surprised it was as one-sided as it's been. But as you can see, that T-BAP right down on your lower right of the screen, he has been gaining percentage against Joe Nardella and the Whip Snakes over time. So let's take a look at what we kind of wrote down for some notes and then what we got as the reality. So Jeff Teat, 4 points right here. On the right, we have 1 goal last year, 2 assists the year before that. So 4 goals is a bit better, but he had the 2 turnovers, which kind of kills it as well. No ground balls. So not a bad day by him, but yeah, not the day that I would really had. Not like, not tier 1 worth risk, in my opinion. I stand by that. Eric Law, 3 points in the game earlier this season, and then this one he had 2. Chris Gray, 2 points. Danny Logan, 2 points. 3 ground balls. It's not bad for a defensive guy. With the 2 goal. And then T-Bap with a goal. Casabio with 1 goal. Romar Dennis with 1 goal. So not too bad. I was almost kind of feeling Casabio and Bucaro, but it's just that, Bernlor went like 72% in this game. Just an absolute fucking animal. Defensively, Cade Van Rapport's Jake Richard was probably a pretty good buy in this game. Michael Rexroad, all of them did pretty well in terms of, calls, turnovers, ground balls, and whatnot. So not a bad play for them, which is kind of surprising that they gave up as many goals as they did. But here's when we get into Jack Concannon, 17 saves. Not bad per se, 52%. Like it's a winnable stat line for sure. And then on the other side, so we've got Rambo with this 2-point game, 5-goal game, 2-point game. And the trend was saying he was going to go back to this 5-point game. He put up 7 points. So that's something that I wish I kind of saw a bit earlier. Zed Williams didn't have a game, and then 1 point, and then 5 points. Last week he started to kind of figure it out a little bit more. And then this game he continues. So this matchup, I feel a little bit like I missed on these Matt Rambos and Zed Williams. Jay Carlson, just about what we would have expected out of him. Brad Smith, the same. Channy, about the same. Wouldn't have been mad at a Channy playing, but only 2 points with the turnover. He probably would have ended up being a 2 if I'm not mistaken. Defensively, Mueller wouldn't have been a bad pick. Earnhardt, not too bad, but no points though. That's kind of what I was gonna bank in on him getting if I were to play him. And then Connor Kirst, didn't have any notes on him, but ended up having a good game. Squires is the last one. Where the hell is he? Oh, wow. I don't think Squires played. That's interesting. No, he did, because he took faceoffs. What the fuck? Yeah, this is the weird one. Joe Nardella. His percentage has been going down over time, and it continues that trend, so that's a tough go. And then we have Bernler with another 72% save percentage game. 18 saves, 8 scores against, including 1 2-pointer. So I am riding that hot hand of Bernler. He got me 30 points this week. Next, we got the Dogs and the Woods. So here we're definitely thinking, I went with the over 24.5. Good to see that hit. So here, I mean, I was pretty much banking in on McCardle having a sick game. He had 16 points in his last three, 5 points in 21, 0 in the other one. Had 4 points in this one with a turnover, 4 ground balls. Not a bad performance at all. I'm not. I'm sorry, that was Kelly. McCardle, 3 points, 2 ground balls, but the 3 turnovers, and that's what fucking kills it. I believe I played him this week, so let's take a quick look at how he did. 22 points. Honestly, that's pretty fucking good. I'll take that for sure. Lyle was definitely my letdown of the week, and we'll get into that in a little bit. Connor Farrow as well. Burnlord continues to do well, and I kind of just messed up with the Jared Newman. I should have played Jack Rowlett, but back to the dogs in the woods. So we had McArdle, we had Sowers, we had Walker. Sowers ended up having 4 goals, which by no stretch of the imagination is a letdown. 2 turnovers, which is going to hurt him just a little bit, but not too bad. Shooting 50%, only 8 shots for 4 goals. That's a pretty good. It's a pretty good ratio to have. So Sowers having that 8 points in the last 2, averaging 4 points per game. Had 4 points in this one. Could have seen that one coming, but I'm not mad I didn't play him. It really seems like that offensive ability is always just good. You always got to throw that in against the Woods. Even though technically their defense men are good, I guess just as a whole, they just play a high-scoring game. Kelly, 8 points in the last 2. 3 points in the last in 20. What? Oh yeah. 8. Wow, he had 8 points in 21 and 3 points in fucking 2020. Jesus Christ, 8 points in one game. Jeez, man. And then 4 in this one, a goal, a 2-pointer, and an assist off of 7 shots. Not too bad, but only 1 goal off of 7 shots. That's gonna hurt your team. You had 2 guys with 14 shots, only 2 goals out of them. That's not what you need to see. Although 29%, that's honestly not too bad. Oh yeah, then there's the 2 goals too, so that's not too bad. Walker didn't do all too much. 6 shots, only 1 goal. Courier, we had 1 goal out of him, and 6 ground balls, a caused turnover, and a turnover himself. So that's not a bad one. He had had an assist on the game, only 2 shots. Not bad, but not great. Definitely not the Zach Courier of last year, but still a valuable guy on this team. Then we had defensively, the guys who I really liked. Jesus, man, there's so many stats for this. Liam Burns with an absolute burner. 4 caused turnovers, 5 ground balls. Jesus, man. I mean, that definitely was going to cost you a 1, but that was totally going to be worth it at that point. Other than that, Jack Higgins, I don't know who that is, so that's an interesting play. I don't see Rylan Reese anywhere, so that's an interesting one as well. Possible injury with him. And then Dylan Ward, 36%. Last time had 37%. So something about this Redwoods offense just has his number. Speaking of have his number, Rob Pennell, 8 points, 2 goals, 6 assists, 1 turnover, 67% shooting. Only had 3 shots. An absolute burner of a day for him. Ryder Garnsey with a great day as well. Bertrand continues to do well. Henningberg, I think this is his first game back, 3 points. Miles Jones, 2 points. Not too fucking shabby. If you went with Jones, probably a bit of a letdown, averaging that 4 points per game. Garnsey averaging 4 points per game, gets 5 in this one. Pennell had 4 and 2. This one he has 8, so he's doubled his point production every time against his team. Would had ever been able to see that going from 2 to 4 to 8? Negative. Let's see how we did defensively. Garrett Apple, not a horrible day. 1 caused turnover, 2 ground balls, but definitely not great if you started him. Jack Kelly, 50%, had a caused turnover, 2 ground balls, 11 saves. Can't be mad at it. Honestly, can't be mad at it. T.D. Erlin, 12 ground balls with 64%, had probably a half-decent day. So, not all too bad. 73% last game, stays within the 10% threshold, so Can't be too upset over that one. Ground balls seem about right in terms of fluctuation with that percentage as well, and hit on that over 24.5. So that's easy money. Next, we have this Chaos and Archers game. Um, Pretty tight game until the end. If you look here, um, Archers came out to that early lead per se in that first quarter, and then just kind of solidified it in that fourth. We'll start with the Chaos here. I liked the Archers in terms of pretty much everything, but I knew this was going to be a tight game. I think I picked Chaos. I didn't mind the Chaos money line plus 140. I think at the end of the day, I wouldn't have taken it, but I thought that it was going to be a close game. Ended up being a pretty close one. Josh Burns, a lot of guys didn't play in week 2. Josh Burns, Chris Cloutier, um, Dane Smith. Dane only 1 point. Cloutier only 1 point. O'Keefe only 1 point. Frazier only 2 points. Rogers probably would have never fucking played him, 4 points. And then Josh Byrne, 4 points. Probably wouldn't have seen that coming. Had 9 shots though, so you know that the offense was really pushing through him. Not much to see there on offense. Patrick Resch had a good game. I was looking at Troy Ray as well. Nothing too crazy on the stat lines. And then CJ Costabile had a really good game in week 2 against them where he had the 5 points. Only has 2 ground balls in this game. Adler, 52% with 6 ground balls. I mean, it's not bad in terms of their team because 52%, I mean, you'll take that every day of the week. But not great for fantasy purposes. And then Blaze Reedon as well, 66%. That's really not too bad. 19 saves and had 1 caused turnover. So he probably ended up doing pretty well if you threw him in your lineup as well. And then some guys I was looking at were Newman and Rowlett. Went with Newman, 2 ground balls. Should have gone with Rowlett, caused turnover and a ground ball. Would have had 8 points would have had 7 points with him. Instead, only had 2. It is what it is, or maybe 6 points. Either way, I really wasn't banking in with that. TK ended up not playing. Yep, they went with Max Adler. And then Blaze does redeem himself just a little bit. Still gets the loss, unfortunately. And then on the other side, of course, I'm like, oh no, can't play Tom Schreiber. He hasn't had a game this season with less than 2 turnovers. His shooting percentage is low. This, that, the other thing. Guy puts up 6 points this week. Just unbelievable. Will Manny, 0 points off 8 shots. That's pretty fucking astounding. Holman, 3 points. Can't be too happy with that if you played him. 3 ground balls and a turnover, so that all about evens out. So he might end. I mean, not a bad day per se, but he probably would have costed you. Grant Ament, nothing crazy out of him this season so far. I'm sure he's still trying to get his legs under him as well. Matt Moore, same thing, ended up not doing all too much. 4 points, is cooled off in the second half, and that continues. Defensively, we have Hasek, 7 ground balls. Jesus Christ. Not too shabby, but that's not really going to win you fantasy leagues, though. Scott Ratliff, 2 close turnovers, 1 ground ball. It's a good day out of him. Most close turnovers for him against this team in quite a while, if not ever. And then McMahon, same thing, nothing too crazy. Wouldn't really have gone with anyone on this team, and I did not. Should have gone with Schreiber. I can't go with him anymore just because he's gonna fuck me every time I play him. It is what it is. There's 1 week left though. We'll figure it out. This is gonna be our best week. And then this is a stupid one for me. I knew Lyle didn't do well against the Chrome in general, and yet I still went with him because he was the hot hand, and I needed to, in this case, not go with my gut, but go with what the facts were telling me. I still played him. Definitely kind of bit me in the ass, but you live and you learn. Cannon-wise, 3 points for Thompson, 3 points for Rafis, 3 points for Nolting. It's not too bad. Knowlton continues the streak of not being able to break 3 points since that 6 point game against the Chrome earlier this season with that overtime winner, or they actually lost in overtime. So tough day in terms of playing Lyle Thompson. 8 shots, 4 ground balls, 3 turnovers. That'll fucking kill your day too a little bit. Um, and then we have Cockerton, who didn't play this game. It seems that someone on this roster was hurt. It might have been Rafus, and he came back in. 0 points, 6 points in the last three. Never mind. Take back what I just said. And then he continues to do not that bad, all right? Defensively, Brody Merrill. I think might be his first game back in a little bit. 2 calls over 6 ground balls. That's a good fucking game. Garland has a much better game than historically he has against this team. And then Morocco. Stephen Kelly, 50%. Can't be mad at it. Morocco, 48%. It's not going to per se lose you the game, but it's definitely not going to win you the game either. And then on the other side, we have Wisniewski. Had 1 point, hit or miss at 3, so this was kind of his, wasn't a hit or wasn't a miss. Nick Chern ended up getting 4 points in this game, all assists, had 5 in the other. And he's really only had games where he had more than 2 points or less than 2 points. So, Malloy here doesn't look like he did all too bad. 2 goals, caused turnover. That helps you out. Ground ball and 2 turnovers himself. So I guess it kind of cancels himself out. Not a bad play. He probably would have been a 2 if I had to guess. So not a bad go. Maybe even a 3, honestly. Maybe a high 3. And then midfield wise, McIntosh. Anderson was the guy to go to here. Defensively, we got Jesse Bernhardt 2-2. Other than that, nothing too much to look at. Connor Farrell, not a bad game, but just no points out of him, which is going to hurt. And Sean Saccone, 64%. Pretty good game out of him. And then defensively, had a cause turnover, and that helps. So he probably had a hell of a day as well. This, I went with the under. That definitely hit. So I hit on one, missed on one, and hit on another. So another day, another weekend where I am beating the Bucks. No big deal. Don't worry about it. And tough week for me, just fantasy wise. I don't regret the defensive play. Wish I went with the other guy. It was a 50-50 shot. Looking back, Monday morning quarterback. You wish that you went with someone that's not Lyle. But riding that hot hand, just like with Bernlohr, I'm not going to be mad at it. And then the Connor Kelly play I thought was a good one. 22, he was predicted 13, so I thought that was a good read. And then Connor Farrell, I guess that one just kind of bit me in the ass. It is what it is, though. Tough week. Looking into next week, we have the Redwoods and the Chrome. This will be an interesting matchup because that's a high-scoring team versus a low-scoring team. The Redwoods have been hot, going from basically irrelevant to now almost 500. And the Chrome, bit of a dip down, but nothing too bad in terms of their offensive production is still relatively there, and their defensive production is obviously still there. So that'll be an interesting matchup. Not sure what I'm going to do with that one. Water Dogs, Archers. I like this one to go over, that's for sure. I think this will be a good game. I might even go with... actually, I'm not sure who the Water Dogs are going to have face-off, but I might have to go with him, but we'll keep looking. Oh, no, never mind. So Joe Nardella is a lock for next week. Definitely throw him in there. If not, you're going to throw in T-Bap with the Atlas, who have been on a fucking downtrend, that's for sure. Chrome Redwoods is the tough one for me to think the over-under. Obviously, the Chrome are going to be favorites. Archers, Water Dogs, over-under, probably 24.5. I'm going to go with the over with that one. And I kind of like the Water Dogs to win, I'm not going to lie. Whipsnake's Cannons, the mirror reflection of records. Here, I mean, I'm not sure exactly what I'm feeling with this game. I'm feeling the under for sure. I think that the Whipsnakes will be able to control this game a lot better. Offensively, I mean, I guess you could throw in Zed Williams because he's been doing his thing. And then Atlas Chaos, I think that's where my face-off is going to come from. I think my attackman's going to come from the Whipsnakes game. I think my midfield is going to come from the Archers Water Dogs game. I think my goalie might come from the Whipsnakes too. My face-off is going to come from the Atlas. And my defense might come from the Water Dogs as well, because I'm not really thinking of anyone else. So we'll see. We might mix it up a little bit. I don't have any of the rankings or the tier talk just yet this week. But stay tuned for the next one. I mean, this is the last one. So I think that there's definitely been progress this year in the podcast, in the PLL Nation, across the entire thing. So I'm excited for this upcoming season and for this season to close and next one to start, because next year is only gonna get better from here. I think that this year was a good improvement. I think last year was a good setup. I like the thinking attack, midfield, defense, goalie, face off. What I like there, going through the team's past history, and then thinking about the hypothetical bets that I like. And it doesn't take a ton of work, but I'm definitely doing some deep digging with this shit. So